Another Labour MP confronted and abused as, not this time was the British boy, it was part of the British public, of course, but it was this time farmers, as they showed him what they thought about him. There's of course been a warning from the farmers. The farmers aren't giving up, guys. And this is what happens when you mess around with the farmers. The government is going to learn the hard way. We've seen a lot of protests from the farmers, and it looks like it's going to continue as it ramps up through January. They have warned. In today's video, guys, we're of course going to see some footage from the protests. We're of course going to see Steve Reed get confronted and abused as he flees away surrounded by police. There's quite a lot to go over, so yeah, let's go through it. Let's give a background to the story, but as always, guys, if you're watching this live, get involved in the live chat. If you're watching it on the replay, get involved in the comment section below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and let's get into it. So, as you can see there, guys, another farmers' protest happened today in Oxford, and it's going to continue to escalate their actions throughout January and the year unless the government reverses its planned inheritance tax changes, a campaign group leader has warned. Alan Miller, co-founder of Together, said that farmers were prepared to ramp things up following today's demonstration in Oxford. Protesters gathered outside the Oxford Farming Conference with banners reading "Ditch the family farm tax and fight the tax." As Environment Secretary Steve Reed addressed the conference, around 100 tractors outside continuously honked their horns with the noise audible inside the venue. So yeah, as you can see, he tried to do a conference today, but this is all he would have heard from inside it. Listen. So yeah, whilst he was inside there taking the the conference or hosting the conference, that's all he would have been able to hear. There's some footage going around as well of them being able to hear those horns from inside the building, actually. And yeah, I mean, it put them off entirely. And they did want to speak to Steve Reed. They did want to actually confront him and speak to him. And when they went to do so, this is what happened. Yes, they kind of told him what they wanted as he fled out the back door like a quote-unquote rat.
Addressing our farmers properly. Howard. Somewhat contemptuous and disdainful, not really acceptable, Steve. Farmers are making their voices heard and with the public, and yeah, they're scuttling off. Unfortunately, Steve Reed doesn't really want to
That's talent. That's talent, that is. Yeah.
Give him more call. Where is he?
Why are you dismissing the people you are meant to be representing? Pay attention, Steve Reed!
So yeah, as you can see, the farmers there are not happy at all. And as stated earlier on, the sort of campaign who's sort of running this kind of warned that there is going to be a hell of a lot more protests like this, and they're going to escalate and get worse every single time if nothing is done about it. And this is what he said in an interview with GB News. He basically said that thousands of farmers in different counties are ready for rolling protests. We're going to see the continuation of this tomorrow and throughout the month and throughout the year until the government listens to us. Miller warned that if the inheritance tax changes proceed, there'll be no more food on the shelves because there won't be any farmers in Britain to do so. The Together co-founder urged the public to engage with their MPs over the issue, praising the public support as for farmers so far since Labour's budget announcement. He said, "We're encouraging everyone to write to their MPs. You can go to Together Declaration, tell your MP what you think today." The campaign group leader said Environment Secretary Steve Reed and the government needs to listen and reverse the inheritance tax changes. Miller continued, "Steve Reed and the government need to listen. They need to go back on the inheritance tax. It's not just farmers, it's also family businesses. And that all of the Labour MPs and rural constituencies are going to feel this. They're going to feel this in the May elections. They need to listen and turn this around, and everyone will make their voices heard together." The government, following this, has said it aims to make the system fairer and discourage wealthy people from investing in land solely to avoid tax. Speaking at the conference, Environment Secretary Steve Reed acknowledged the inheritance tax changes were very unwelcome. He stated, "It wasn't something we intended or wanted to do before we saw the state of the public finances, and of course I regret that, but we tried to make it a little easier." Reed later told the BBC the changes were a difficult decision forced by the appalling financial inheritance from the previous government. So the same sort of rhetoric that we always hear from different Labour MPs, they're all sort of programmed with the same thing that they say countless times. But again, it's great to see the farmers so resilient with this and pushing this, because of course the £22 billion black hole was absolute horse crap anyway, and that's just something they use as the default to try and take money off of people. But of course, look, again, no farmers, no food. It is the backbone of Britain and something that does need to be sorted out. So I do urge the farmers to continue what they're doing, and hopefully the government can reverse these changes. But again, as always, it will fall onto deaf ears, and this will always be the case. But Steve Reed didn't even want to speak to the hundreds of farmers that were out in protest out there yesterday. Again, he's meant to be a man for them, for the sort of rural people, if you like, for farmers. And again, just went away, ignored them, went out the back door like a rat. And yeah, it's unfortunate for them, but as stated, hopefully they do get this changed. Otherwise, we're just going to be seeing more and more. And we could see France scale ones. We have been warned that there could be French scale farmer protests in the future. For those of you that didn't know what happened, well, basically the French farmers covered government buildings and covered the streets in manure. So, yeah, you don't want that. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on this situation down there in the comment section below. Do you feel that this is ever going to change with these protests? Do you reckon the Labour government will be forced into it? Or do you not think they care? Again, let me know in the comments. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all tomorrow. This is the last live stream and video from us tonight. So thank you. I'll see you all later. Take care. Peace.